During this unprecedented time of coronavirus, we are conducting a virtual convocation, not out of choice, but of necessity. Despite the recent trials, the importance of commemorating your achievements is our paramount concern. While we wish our community could convene in person, we trust that you will find meaning and inspiration in our virtual ceremony. On behalf of the faculty of the Division of the Humanities, I am honored to extend warm congratulations and commendations to you, the exceptional scholars who will be recognized today. Your professors, families, and friends, those who have supported you through your studies, are all proud of your accomplishments and of the distinction you have now attained. We know that you will venture forth from the University of Chicago to become leaders, innovators, and persons of merit and accomplishment throughout the world, and that you will bring to your communities the benefits of an enriched and critical mind. The value of the enriched and critical mind is the subject of much debate in and beyond the humanities. Especially at this time in our complex and perplexing world, many questions the practical utility of the humanistic enterprise, the study of human culture through history, literature, ancient and modern languages, philosophy, art, and music, and they are skeptical of the investment such an education requires. But the cost to society of not engaging in the renewal and advancement of human knowledge is too great to contemplate. Those who engage in research, teaching, and the renewal of knowledge, those who cultivate a deep level of self-examination and constancy of purpose will contribute to and help ensure a strong, self-governing nation. And as you assume the reins of leadership in academia, business, government, and society, you will be called upon to propose solutions for global problems. You will be asked to respond swiftly and decisively in an ever-expanding, complex world. You will be challenged to innovate and to evaluate. As you do so, your actions, your deeds, and your ethical positions will be informed by the values and lessons imparted by your communities and your university. I hope you will use what you have learned here at the university, change it, adapt it, translate it, connect the various insights, and make them something new, your own, and worthy. May every one of you use to your best advantage what you have learned. May you make a difference in the challenging world you inherit, and may your lives reflect honor back to your families, your communities, and to the University of Chicago. Congratulations. As we celebrate the accomplishments of those who are graduating, we also celebrate members of the community for their accomplishments in teaching, mentoring, and scholarship. Our first two awards today, given for excellence in teaching and scholarship by our graduate students, will be announced by Shay Wolf, Dean of Students in the Division of the Humanities.
We are pleased to honor the Humanities graduate student receiving the Dean's Award for Graduate Student Teaching Excellence. We recognize Zoe Hughes, a PhD candidate in the Department of English Language and Literature, for her truly outstanding performance as a graduate student teacher for undergraduate and master's degree students. One of her students described Zoe as a brilliant teacher with the ability to craft an engaging and balanced English course, showcasing her tremendous pedagogical skill and passion, while another student found Zoe can dissect complicated theory and explain it in an accessible way. I have the honor of conferring the Award for Graduate Student Teaching Excellence to Zoe Hughes. I now have the honor of conferring the Dean's Distinguished Dissertation Award. This award acknowledges the outstanding scholarly contributions of a dissertation completed in the Division of the Humanities. The 2020 award goes to Lester Hugh, who earned his doctoral degree in the Department of Music in the spring term of 2019 for his extraordinary dissertation, From Ut Re Mi to 14-Tone Temperament, the Global Acoustomologies of an Early Modern Reform to Chinese Musical Tuning. Under the direction of Martha Feldman, the Edwin A. and Betty L. Bergman Distinguished Service Professor of Music, Lester delved thoroughly into multiple sources, marshaled rigorous arguments, and displayed his versatile skills and knowledge in many fields to advance towards a new global musicology. Martha describes his outstanding dissertation as the product of Lester's once-in-a-generation scholarly talent, his amazing language skills, and his stunning multidisciplinary intellect. In fall of 2019, Lester began a tenure-track position at the University of California, Berkeley. I am pleased to confer the Dean's Distinguished Dissertation Award to Lester Hugh.
Next, I have the honor of conferring the Janelle M. Mueller Award for Excellence in Pedagogy, named in honor of former Dean and Professor Emerita Janelle Mueller. This award recognizes the contributions of lecturers and senior lecturers within the Division of the Humanities. Olga Sanchez-Kizilevska, a lecturer in music theory in the Department of Music, displays excellence in teaching, mentoring graduate students, and enhancing the intellectual life of the department. Her extraordinary pedagogical acumen keeps students engaged in learning at all times. Olga's students learn skills like counterpoint from different angles, memorizing keyboard patterns, composing, analyzing, singing, performing on their instruments, and making videos. When the arrival of coronavirus necessitated remote learning, Olga quickly displayed leadership and adaptability in decoding technology solutions, mentoring her course assistants to facilitate remote singing and playing, and moving course materials online. Her classes lost nothing in terms of depth of engagement, and her students continue their interactive playing and singing. I am delighted to present Olga Sanchez-Kizilevska with the Janelle M. Mueller Award for Excellence in Pedagogy. I will now recognize the university-wide Teaching Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching and Mentoring. This year's recipient is Elizabeth Asmus, professor in the Department of Classics and the College. By cultivating a remarkably capacious view of the scope of philosophical inquiry, Elizabeth unites students and scholars from across the university in the study of classical text. Hers is a generous voice in multiple workshops, and her recent service has included advising across 5 departments. Her belief in her students grants them space to flourish, to hear praise as earned and criticism as constructive. Her scholarly generosity allows them to find, develop, and refine their own projects, which in turn allows them to find their own voices and thus to become scholars in their own right. All this, and a warm humanity, makes her an outstanding mentor. Through outstanding generosity and intellectual support, Elizabeth has aided generations of students in the shared study of classical philosophy. I have the honor of presenting Elizabeth Asmus with the Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching and Mentoring. I now have the honor to bestow the Bobby Josephine Hernandez Shea, AM 1993, and Morgan Chia-Wen Shea, MBA 1993 Teaching Award. Bobby and Morgan met when they were undergraduate students at Cornell University. In the early 1990s, the couple studied at the University of Chicago. Bobby completed her master's degree in English, and Morgan earned his master's degree in business administration. Bobby and Morgan experienced wonderful teachers here and wanted to encourage excellent teaching within the Humanities division. This award honors faculty members who guide the intellectual development of undergraduate students through exceptional teaching and mentoring. This year's recipient is Jason Riggle, Associate Professor in the Department of Linguistics. Jason's students and colleagues commend his phenomenal ability to teach complex topics such as the language of deception and humor and language in an age of microaggression, in lively, well-constructed formats that encourage active student participation. Jason creates the kind of energy that is simultaneously intellectual and grounded in daily living. As a result, his students can readily understand the relevance of the class to the everyday and have a transformative kind of learning experience. Additionally, Jason excels in the classroom as a dynamic teacher-scholar with a lively style that involves students and challenges them. He is a creative thinker, integrating current information in supervising individuals' research. Through his own research and students' projects, Jason engages students in hands-on research experiences. I have the honor to present Jason Riggle with the Bobby Josephine Hernandez Shea, AM 1993, and Morgan Chia-Wen Shea, MBA 1993 Teaching Award. And now it is my honor to recognize each individual student for their accomplishment in completing their program of study for the degrees of Master of Arts and Doctor of Philosophy. I first call upon Eric Slaughter, Associate Professor of English and Deputy Dean in the Humanities Division, to announce the recipients of the degree of Master of Arts.
Dean Robertson, I have the honor to present the students who have successfully completed a program of advanced study in the humanities, culminating in the degree of Master of Arts. Had al-Tawil, Muhammad Durkantara Essa Valentino A.M., Tracy Lynn Andrews, Ariadne Argyros, Amelia Arnold, Rana Awad, Kimberly Babbage, Caitlin Elizabeth Barth, Rama Bayrakdar, Tristan Biter, Dorian Z. Bell, Emily Breitbart, Rafaela Brosnan, Dakota Jennings Brown, Aidan Brown Rivkin, Claire Sal, Julian E. Sal, Aaron Capelli, Megan Carnwright, Camille Carter, Sabrina Nicole Castillo, Ziqi Chen, Zi Ling Chung, Lauren Elise Chivington, Burge Chorlian, Hannah Clark, Anthony Cleesby, Lydia Janes Cosquella, Jackson Cyril, Ryan Daubenmeyer, Michelle Marie DePorto, Anna Ruth Dean, Brittany Del Maine, Annie Diamond, Paula Domingo Passarin, Matthew Cole Donovan, Brian Dugan, Brooke Engerman, Charlie Erickson, Yu-Sin Fan, Aviva Farkas, Thomas Fitzgerald, Haley Garvin, Sadie Gelman, Meridica Ghosh, Matthias Gompers, Jia Chi Lisa Fei, Kon Jing Fei, Pia Hetcher, Rebecca Hammelstein, Margaret Lowry Heyer, Matthew Hodgson, Richard Wesley Hooper, Victoria Hopper, Sally Mae Hosseini, Ren Ji Hu, Katie Elizabeth Jacobson, Ning Ying Jiha, Yu Chen Zhang, Zhang Ling Jun, Kayla Amelia Johnson, Evan Jones, Emma Electra Jones, Kristen Joseph, Bahadine Hawar Kerbarani, Bernard Kim, Boram Kim, Avery Komlovsky, Lillian Kong, Samuel Lee Won Heng, Brendan Lemkin, Annette Lepeque, Byron Eugene Lewis Jr., C. Yi Li, Yi Ting Li, Jia Ying Liang, Nicolette Lindsay, E. Li O, E. Li O, Wei Lu, Julia Marson, Adam Matvia, Rebecca McCall, Amelia Louisa McLennan, Tyler Austin Mercer, Sneha Mohidekar, Nicholas John Mullaroni, Huen Gwen, Alexandra Marie Nicolau, Henry Nooney, Nicholas Nuri, Carissa Outland Knickerbocker, Xing Shen Pan, Marie Amélie Pavel, Shi Yi Pong, Frida Plata, Thomas Quist, Christopher Raguse, Alexandra A. Rago, Jacob Reynolds, Elizabeth Rice, Charlotte Robbins, Emiliano Rodriguez, Dan Jing Ryong, Susan Russo, Nemish Sarin, Matthew Gregory Donovan Scott, John Leif Shannon, Lauren Sheely, Danielle Shi, Nicole Schumacher, Lauren Sims, Ethan Douglas Simmons, Nathan Smith, Peter Smith, Matthew Sperling, Antonia Stefanescu, Shay Swindlehurst, Dai Yi Tong, Carson Tazok, Julian Tebow, Catherine Marie Thompson Taylor, Caitlin Truesdale, Carolyn Wade, Olivia Wakamoto, Reese Wilkinson Wallace, Mara Francis Waltz, Zhao Lu Wang, Li Jun Wang, Ren Jia Wang, Xin Ji Wang, Malma Wilson, Taran Wilson, Yu Wu, Rachel Ann Worstner, Yun Ji Xia, Rao Lin Shong, Jocelyn J. Xu, Xu Yi Fong, Yu Qing Yang, So Ju Yang, Ko Sing Yu, Frank Zator, Yang Si Su Zhong, Boya Scarley Zhou.
Today, we likewise honor the achievements of those who are joining the august company of scholars who hold the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I call upon Dean of Students Shay Wolf to announce the recipients of the degree Doctor of Philosophy.
I now have the honor to present the students who have attained scholarly distinction and have prepared a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research in the humanities, culminating in the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. George Adams, Department of Music, dissertation, Listening to Conceptual Music, Technology, Culture, Analysis. Michael Alamana, Department of Music, dissertation, Will You Still Be Mine? Memory, Place, Race, and Jazz on Chicago's South Side. Elizabeth Alvarado, Department of Music, dissertation, Songs of Science, Musical Worlding in the American Space Age. Ingrid Becker, Department of English Language and Literature, dissertation, Sociopoetics. Miriam Berg, Department of Germanic Studies, dissertation, Fragile Roime, en Grief in den Mitos des Zuhauses, 1905 to 1936. Ethan Blass, Department of Germanic Studies, dissertation, Reading with Belief, Literary Romance in Goethe, Shakespeare, and Hitchcock. Hannah Brooks Model, Department of English Language and Literature, dissertation, War, Cities, Trash, Some Mid-Century Pastorals. Joshua Cannon, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Painted Ceramic Traditions and Rural Communities in Hittite Anatolia. Daniel Carranza, Department of Germanic Studies, dissertation, The Gift of Metamorphosis, Goethe's Poetic Science of Form. Oscar Chavez, Department of English Language and Literature, dissertation, American Graphicity, Post-War Ethnic Literature and Visual Culture. Timothy Clark, Department of Classics, dissertation, The Nature of Dominance, Roman Representations of Parthia and Armenia and the Development of New Narratives of Imperial Victory. Fairleigh Diericks, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, dissertation, Notes Taking Sides, Social and Aesthetic Meanings of Music in the Novel. Christopher Driggers, Department of Art History, dissertation, The History of Idolatry and the Codex Duran Paintings. Jose Estrada, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, dissertation, El Monstruo con su figura, Ruiz de Alarcon's Transatlantic Self-Fashioning. Isaías Fanlo Gonzalez, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, dissertation, Staging a Queer Nation, Landscapes of Desire in Contemporary Catalan Drama. Nacy Fenn, Department of East Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, City on Edge, in Inhabiting Literary Beijing on the Eve of the Manchu Conquest. Marcos Bidoli Govea, Department of Classics, dissertation, Another Homer, the figure of the Roman Homer from Ennius to Macrobius. Julianne Grasso, Department of Music, dissertation, Video Game Music Meaning and the Possibilities of Play. Julian Grove, Department of Linguistics, dissertation, Scope Taking and Presupposition Satisfaction. Kathleen Howe, Department of Philosophy, dissertation, Having a Body and Having a Perspective, an account of proprioceptive awareness. John Hughes, Department of Music, dissertation, Needlepoint for Large Orchestra. Andrew Inkiosa, Department of English Language and Literature, dissertation, Found Among the Papers of Early Republic. Lauren Jackson, Department of English Language and Literature, dissertation, Black Vertigo, Attunement, Aphasia, Nausea, and Bodily Noise, 1970 to the present. Malarvisi Jayant, Department of South Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Abolishing Agrarian Slavery in Southern Colonial India. Mustafa Kaya, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Zain al-Din al-Qawafi, 1356 to 1435, the life and work of a Tariqa founding Sufi. Soihai Kim, Department of East Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Impossible Homecoming, Cinematic Returns of Korean Diaspora in a Post-Cold War East Asia. Max Koss, Department of Art History, dissertation, The Art of the Periodical, Pan, Print Culture, and the Birth of Modern Design in Germany, 1895 to 1900. Kevin Lamb, Department of Classics, dissertation, Visions at War in Lucan's Bellum Civil. Samuel Lassman, Department of Comparative Literature, dissertation, Dragons, Fairies, and Time, Imagining the Paston Medieval Welsh, Persian, and French Narratives. David Zusef Leibovitz, Department of East Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Historical Poetry, Poetical History, and the Roots of Commentary, Rui, Liangfu, and the Formation of Early Chinese Texts. Jorge Lefebvre, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, dissertation, El Indianismo en Cuba y Puerto Rico. Joseph Maurer, Department of Music, dissertation, Learning and Teaching Musical Heritage in Immigrant Chicago. Jane Mickelson, Department of South Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Worlds of the Imagination, Vidal of Delhi, 1720, and Early Modern Persian Lyric Style. Fadil Moslamani, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, dissertation, Filosofia Literaria y Romanzo Storico, un analisi della rappresentazione della storia attraverso il prisma Foucaultiano del Carnival del Tempo. Chiara Nefosi, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, dissertation, Expérience de l'espèce et pensée de la métaphore chez Marcel Proust. Ahona Panda, Department of South Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Philology and the Politics of Language, The Case of Bengali, 1893 to 1955. Stephen Michael Parkin, Department of Comparative Literature, dissertation, The Idea of the Consolatory, The Rhetorics, Ethics, and Moral Psychology of Consolation Literature. Jacob Phillips, Department of Linguistics, dissertation, Sibilant Categorization, Convergence, and Change, The Case of S Retraction in American English. Nicholas Polk, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Deuteronomy and Treaty Texts, A Critical Reexamination of Deuteronomy 13, 17, 27, and 28. Gautam Reddy, Department of South Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, An Empire of Literary Telugu, Remaking Language and Community in Colonial South India, 1812 to 1920. Tommaso Sabatini, Department of Music, dissertation, Music, the Market, and the Marvelous, Parisian Féerie and the Emergence of Mass Culture, 1864 to 1900. Lauren Schachter, Department of English Language and Literature, dissertation, Fixing Words, English Grammar and the Literary Imagination in Britain, 1760 to 1832. Rachel Shine, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, On Blackness in Arabic Popular Literature, The Black Heroes of the Siyar Shabiha, Their Conceptions, Contests, and Contexts. Laura Shearing, Department of Music, dissertation, Sounds of the Modern Backwoods, American Old-Time Musics and Shifting Meanings of Heritage and Place. Orrin Siegel, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Walls of the Rulers, the Development of Monumental Enclosure Walls in Ancient Egypt Prior to the New Kingdom. William Sullivan, Department of Classics and History, dissertation, Admissibility in Roman Canon Procedure, the Emergence of the Law of Positions. Sammy Giris Suez, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Hashemite Household Anxieties, the Emirate of Mecca, Arabism, and the Arab Revolt, 1880 to 1919. Pao Chen Tang, Department of Cinema and Media Studies, and East Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, The Animist Imagination of Cinema. David Thiem, Department of English Language and Literature, dissertation, Reading Algorithms. Margarita Trento, Department of South Asian Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Writing Christianity in 18th Century Tamilakam. Brandon Truitt, Department of English Language and Literature. Dissertation, Art War, the Transnational Imaginary of the Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 2019. Christina Weaver, Department of Linguistics. Dissertation, A Multi-Generational Acoustic and Sociolinguistic Study of Emphasis in Chorrillo. Melanie Zeck, Department of Music. Dissertation, Well-Regulated Amusements and the Longitudinal Viability of Robert Owen's Plan for the Amelioration of the Condition of Mankind, New Harmony, Indiana, 1825 to 1874.
We have spent today celebrating you, the graduates of the Division of the Humanities. Completing a course of graduate studies is an accomplishment of which you should be proud. But we must recognize that this achievement is not yours alone. It belongs also to those who have supported you through the years. Please take this moment to thank your partners, parents, children, family, and friends, and to recognize the faculty and staff of this great university for all that they have done to help you become the accomplished persons you are today. As our 533rd convocation comes to a close, some of you will continue your formal education here at the University of Chicago or elsewhere, while others will start new careers inside or outside the academy. Along with your teachers and mentors, I trust that you will pursue your goals and aspirations with ambition tempered by wisdom, with discernment sharpened by critical reasoning, and with dedication fortified by ideals. May you prosper in your every undertaking. Good luck, Godspeed, and thank you.
This now concludes the Division of the Humanities graduation ceremony at the 533rd Convocation at the University of Chicago. We thank you for bearing witness to today's virtual ceremony, and we celebrate with you all that you have accomplished. Congratulations.